Hey, welcome back to Intentional Queen Podcast with your host, Janine. I'm a certified life coach on self love and growth mindset. Man, have I missed you? I hope you have been tuning into the podcast because we've been doing some things. It's fall now, kids is back in school. And, I just wanted fall to be all about letting it go, letting it flow. We in here like, what's that Frozen? Let it go, let it flow and just releasing what no longer serves us. So that's really what we're gonna be digging in this fall. But also, y'all, guess what? Guess who turned two? Yes, we turned two. So Intentional Queen Journey in the podcast has turned two. I can't believe I'm recording actually on the second anniversary of when I birthed this thing. And so it is very humbling and also very exciting to see that I made it this far in my podcasting journey. So to congratulate myself and also build more community for you guys is I launched the Patreon, okay? Patreon. If you go over there to patreon.com and look up Intentional Queen Journey, you will see it there. I launched it and I did it more like a soft launch because I've been talking to my clients and some of my podcast listeners have slid in my DM and wanted me to create more of a community setting where you could talk to me off the podcast. I have some things coming up. I got events coming. You're going to be doing group coaching. We're going to be doing some live coaching. We're going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff. How about that? I want you guys to go check that out. I have some discounts already sitting there. I got some freebies already sitting there. So I am already loading and it's more stuff loading. And guess what? I put a poll there, POLL, and it's free. And if you've been on my social media platforms, you've been seeing me put it out on my Twitter and on my Instagram that I want you to fill it out and let me know what you want me to serve you in that Patreon because it's about both of us here, right? I'm serving you and you serving me because iron sharpens iron. So go ahead and check that out. I have two tiers there. I got the giraffe tier and I got the diamond tier. And so you'll see all those things there. I'll make sure to leave it in the show notes for you to go ahead and click. And if you on YouTube, you'll already see the icon there. Click in there and you can sign up today because I want to see you in there. Okay. So let's move through that. We already finished up Hot Girl summer season and we did that. Okay. Now let's just jump into this thing. So I said we turned two. And I was trying to think about what am I going to talk about on this episode. And I normally like to do a lessons learned. Last year, we had the Healing Summit for my podcast anniversary, and I had three good friends come out and give us the business. So, if you want to catch that rewind, you can go to the Intentional Queen Refuel, which is the free newsletter, and you can catch that free replay by just going ahead and sliding over to intentionalqueenjourney.com. All the way down to the bottom, you'll see sign up for email, and that's the way to do that. Or you can click on my link in bios on my social media and catch it there. So, all those are avenues for you to sign up and catch last year's replay and then get the monthly newsletter because it's free out here in these streets and you need that. So let's talk about these lessons, y'all. It's been a week. Just pray for my family. This mama right here is exhausted. It was a rough week. My son was critically sick and I didn't even know if I was going to have an episode for y'all, but I got one. Because like I said, I'm consistent. So no matter what's happened, I learned how to take a little breather and then we back at it. So we here now. So I prayed about what was my biggest lessons going ahead and finishing up this year for the podcast anniversary. And the first thing that came through is try to create balance. And I'm going to shout out a special someone here because they've been on me about the word balance because balance is something hard that I struggled with. And that's giving attention to the right things and giving enough attention to certain things and being present in the moment because I be spreading myself thin. That's that superwoman syndrome. So by me letting it go, right? Because this let it go season, let it flow, release what no longer serves you. I feel like balance is how you do that. And you figure out where to put your energy and where not to. You learn what to do and not to do. And you learn how to be present. I'm the queen of the list. Okay. Like I be having checklists for days. Side note, I'm just going to talk about when I was back in school. I remember my teacher told my mom and them, they said, you can see Janine checking off things like a checklist in her head on how she does things. And I'm sure by y'all listening to the podcast, y'all be understanding that's how your girl think. And so by that and having all those lists, you can overwhelm yourself because you just putting too much on your plate. And so I've been working on for myself and also coaching my clients on that too is Be present in the moment. And some things will have to wait, and some things will have to be pushed out and postponed to a later time. And time is something that's valuable that you don't get back. And balance helps you understand that too, that you can flow in different spaces. So I don't know who that's for, but I had to spend a minute on that. Number two, choose yourself more. So I wrote choose myself more, but I want you to choose yourself more and teach people how to treat you. Now, I did a whole podcast episode on teach people how to treat you. I probably have to drop that in the show notes for you, but that's listen, that was one of my top rated episodes last year. And so that's a good one. Okay. You do need to teach people how to treat you out here. And what that comes from is from boundaries. Okay. And boundaries and triggers. And just remember, boundaries are for you. They are not for them. They are for you. Okay. And when you know what you do and you know your worth and you know your value, then boundaries become easier because people will push you. Okay. They will come for the boundaries. You're going to see who benefited from your lack of or your lazy boundary because they're going to get mad when you enforce them. So just because of that, because I just did it on Patreon, I just put a little coaching video up for my Patreons. And so I just did a whole talk on boundaries because it was like it was on my mind because I'm like, man, that's big on releasing and letting it go too, because sometimes we have to release the image or expectations that people have on us. And that's why you have flim flam boundaries, because you don't want people to think of you differently, or you just always trying to show up for them and never showing up for yourself, which then means you're not balanced. And so you're not being present and you staying busy. So make sure to do that. Number three, let go of Bob the Buildering and backpack energy. So last episode was a replay from Purge. And I was saying the backpack that comes from Dora the Explorer, where she talks about, backpack, and maybe having to backpack all this stuff in here and you carrying weight. Okay. And so when you decide that you're getting ready to climb the mountaintop, sometimes people not going to be able to come with you. But if you realize that you're carrying their backpack and your backpack, your back is all broken and you bent all up into a pretzel and you wondering why you distressed. You're distressed because you carrying everybody weight. Let that weight go. Let go of limiting beliefs. Let go of people's perceptions. Let go of extra baggage. Let go of people. Ooh, who that's for? Because that's for somebody. That's the backpack. Bob the Buildering is a show on Nickelodeon from back in the day. And it'd be like, we can fix it. We can. Like, yeah, he'd be out there with his tools trying to fix people. Okay. And so as a nurse, that's a struggle point, right? Because you're a healer. You're there to take care of people and all that type of stuff. So when my son was critically ill last week, it was those nurses that had to tell me, you a mom today. And they took care of me. And it was not my time to be a fix it. They said, it's okay. You've already given us the tools to provide the care that he needs. You can go ahead and relax. And so with Bob the Buildering, sometimes you'll be in relationships with people or you see people and you just want to help them. So then what that means is you enable. Okay. And so when you enable, if you always do it, well, why would they want to do it? Because you always doing it. You need to allow them to do it themselves. Or there's a saying in the streets, if you see a cat and you keep feeding it, at some point it may turn into a lion and devour you. So you got to be careful when you catching strays out here. I'm just saying that's for somebody too. Don't be afraid to fail. It's okay. We all fall. You get back up. That's something I learned there. And I let some of my blunders be in the forefront, meaning like it's exposed. See, sometimes you keep things covered up so much people think you're perfect. So then they use that against you, like you always perfect. You always no. I only allow you to see what I want you to see. That does not mean that it doesn't exist. And so allowing people to have some levels of vulnerability. You don't need to be out there telling your whole business. I don't come from that. But you can give them a little tea, little touch, and let them understand where you're coming from. So that way when they get to know you, they understand your struggle and your pain. That's why my clients come when they coach, because they can understand that I know they struggle because I've been there. How would they know that? Because they seen me expose some of my struggle by listening to the podcast or by reading my social media. Number five, learn the lesson and grow. So sometimes we be so stuck on why are we in this situation? It's because you need to learn that. And if it keep coming, it's probably because you didn't learn it last time. So always just say to yourself, what can I learn from this? And then grow. Because what it's going to do is allow you to step into your next season. Because I've learned so much and I'm out here growing. And what did y'all know? My word of the year is evolve. And that's how I was able to grow, is because I was willing to learn the lesson that kept coming up for me. What is the lesson coming up for you? That's your journal work, okay? And number 6 is build community and network. So not struggling in silence, not being alone, building community. I was able to build community because you guys have came in and gave me the business. Like we're well over 5,000 downloads now. Like y'all are showing up for me and I appreciate you. This is my moment to say thank you, because I would not really have a podcast if it wasn't for you. But I want you to also understand that when I speak into the mic, I speak to the one. I do it because God asked me to do it. I serve because God tell me I got to do it. And so when you come from that place, what's for you will come back. The people that are meant for you will come, build, and they will come. So just start. That's for somebody too. Just start. So for me, I was listening to my community and they said, Patreon, I want to do some more intimate topics with you. I want to be group coaching with you. I don't want to be doing other stuff. So that's a way to do that. Okay. Or set up a life coaching session. Number 7, growth is done in motion, not being stagnant. So I don't know where I heard that from, but that sticks with me. And when I heard it, I had to sit there and take that on a deeper level. Like, growth is done in motion. Well, how do you grow? Because growth means something is moving, right? It's blossoming. So there's movement happening. So I could see it now. Growth is done in motion, not when you're being stagnant. So when you want to grow, you want things to be the same, but they can't. The only way to grow is for it to move or morph or be in a cocoon or spread your wings or however you want to do it. So I learned that biggest lesson. Growth is done in motion. So a baby step can still lead to big steps and giant leaps. So just remember to grow. Number 8, your mental peace should become priority. Now, Alicia Keys said this, and I mean this down in my soul. Okay, you grab you a piece of peace, she said. Grab a piece of peace. Peace, peace feels so good. Peace feels so good. And where does peace start? In your mind. In your mind. It's your thoughts about it. It's your perspective on it. I mean, sometimes people be trying to get you to just be on 10 and you be the clap back king or queen. You don't even need to. You stay in a piece of peace. And sometimes being in a piece of peace is doing what God tell you to do, which is stand still. Stand still. Also, it may be let him fight. The battle is not yours. Who is that for? One more time for the person in back. The battle is not yours. Sometimes he say rest in the pocket and 2, I get you. Who is that for? But remember, peace becomes priority because when you stay in a level of peace, you able to function through things. You're not reactive, you're responsive. And so responsive is better than reactive. Oh, responsive is better than reactive. So when you respond to something, that means you've taken time to collect all your thoughts, analyze it, dot it up with the I and the T's, and you're like, let me make an executive decision, and then you respond. A reaction is, oh, I'm offended. Now I got to come back. Now I got to run it down from A to Z because now you done pissed me off. And what that is coming for the ego. And remember, pride comes before the fall. So be careful of your ego because that's even in Bible. Pride comes before the fall. So be careful, be vigilant, and be wise and catch yourself and stay humble. Stay humble and celebrate your wins no matter what size. Okay, even if they mad, be the light, be the lighthouse, be the light, because when you the light, they find you. You want what's for you and what's not. That's a part of also letting go. Let's stay what's for you and let go what's not. That's a gate instead of a wall. That's a whole thing. Ooh, number 9, try new things. So what that means is what you used to always do may not work. You may have to be trying some new things out here. And what happens is you become courageous and then you build up confidence because you continue to do it. And sometimes you have to become comfortable with being uncomfortable and sometimes you have to do it through fear, no matter what it looks like. But if you know in your heart and you prayed about that thing and God told you to do it, you do it. So that's how I made it 2 years because he told me to do it. This all started from me saying I'm not going to do it, but then keep showing up. And then people kept coming and saying, Neen, I need you to keep showing up because I need you. And then I realized I'm serving the crew. Number 10, refuel yourself frequently. So that goes back to my first thing because I talked about balance, right? And so if you're not refueling yourself frequently, then you will become ran down and burnt out, which I've been there because of superwoman syndrome. Okay. And so, once again, that's why I developed the whole intentional Queen Refuel newsletter. And that's where that came from, is because I remembered that you need to mind your business and drink your water, Janine, out here in these streets. So, boo boo, what you doing? Are you minding your business and drinking your water, getting your peace on, and minding your business and tending to your self love languages? And if you need to go back and listen to your self love languages, you got to take care of yourself. How do you like to be taken care of? Because that's the language you need to do for yourself. And then there may be something different for the person that you're with. They may not want that same love language, but you should treat yourself first. So that way you show up for yourself, as yourself, and then people around you will respect that. But it all started from the faith of a mustard seed 2 years ago. Journal your journey. That's another way to refuel yourself. Like, I like to journal my journey. I like to do my affirmations. I like to schedule it in. Now, you may not be a scheduler, but like, schedule that thing, and it's a non negotiable for me. That's a non negotiable because I got to get back to all these things that's been going on over the last few weeks, and I wanted to be consistent. But I needed to celebrate with y'all that we made it 2 years from this faith of a what? Mustard seed. Let's go over these lessons I learned because we now too. Try to create balance. Choose yourself more by creating boundaries and teaching people how to treat you. Let go of the Bob the Buildering and backpack energy. Don't be afraid to fall or fail. Learn the lesson and grow and move on. Build community and network. Number 7, growth is done in motion, not being stagnant. So if you want to grow, you have to continue to be in motion, which means you need to keep doing something. Number 8, mental peace should become your priority. It is nothing like a level of peace. And remember, your time is valuable as well, and that is something you can't get back. Number 9, try new things. You might end up liking it. And then build up your confidence, which starts from being vulnerable and being courageous. And number 10, refuel yourself frequently by knowing your self-love languages and scheduling it in and making sure you're taking care of yourself. So these was the biggest lessons I learned. I'm so grateful for you guys. I want you to level up your intentional queen to a better you. I'm going to see you in 2 weeks. Make sure to, what should we do to celebrate? Make sure you tag me, Queen Journey, and let me know congratulations or something. But I would love to hear your feedback and let me know. I see you in 2 weeks, guys. Bye bye.